What is up YouTube, and welcome to this Loki episode 5 breakdown, Easter eggs and review. And this episode was titled Journey into Mystery, which not only were they journeying into mystery, but it was also a reference to the original Thor comic, Journey into Mystery, when he was first appeared in Marvel Comics. And oh boy, was I on the edge of my seat the whole time. If you enjoyed the video, then please do drop a like down below and subscribe with notifications on to never miss a video. Now we open with a run through of the fallout of the last episode, showing the TVA scrambling and the dead fake timekeepers as we head to where Loki is with a chock-a-block void full of Easter eggs. Now we have a very cool panning shot as we see the lighthouse of Alexandria, which was one of the ancient wonders of the world before its destruction. We also got Avengers Tower, which actually now says QENG. Now, Quang Enterprises, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, so I'm getting that in before you comment there. And this Enterprises was first mentioned in Avengers Ultron Forever #1, and also became known as the new Quang Dynasty in the future. However, it would turn out that the CEO, Mr. Griffin, was actually Nathaniel Richards and was one of 3 split versions of Kang the Conqueror, who many believe is behind this whole thing. However, the Kang connections do not end there, as Alioth, who is this guardian of the void, which we would learn is a timeline where every pruned variant goes to due to it being impossible to destroy all matter, is actually connected to Kang by the way of Alioth, who was in the comics a threat to Kang's temporal empire. Now, Kang stopped it from entering his empire until his death, when Ravonna, the comic book Ravonna, actually accidentally released it. Now, under duress from Sylvie, we learn that the branch timelines that are reset are also simply sent to this void, creating a gigantic battle royale of all realities. Battle World, anyone? With Alioth as its guard dog. The myth says the timekeepers are turning it into a utopia, which is, yeah, that's of course a lie, which is actually what Doctor Doom tried to do after Secret Wars, which, yeah, more on him in a minute. Now, Loki is talking to his fellow Lokis and learns of the status quo of the world and what happens when you're pruned. It's funny that, well, he mentions, why hasn't Kid Loki got any horns, as he's the only one without them. The void has no way of actually escape, there's no way for any of these to get through, and Kid Loki is the king due to his Nexus event being that he actually killed Thor. And they walk to their base where we see a gigantic yellow jacket, helmet, and Thanos' helicopter, with the latter being a hilarious part of Marvel history when Thanos used the chopper to steal an Infinity Stone. Now, as we cut down to the base, we see Throg, which was Thor turned into a frog in the comics by Loki, and referenced by Matt Damon's character in Ragnarok's hilarious play of the history of Thor and Loki. It had T365 on the jar, which was of course referencing an issue of Thor where this took place. Now we cut to Sylvie as Renslayer pretends to be on Sylvie's side and pretends to be helping her, and we got actual Miss Minutes being incredibly sus, who runs interception for Ravonna, saying that there's a void spacecraft and nervously looks at the files, which is possibly a reference to the TVA's temporal train used to get around, which the Fantastic Four stole when they escaped the TVA, and Sylvie's then betrayed and pruned herself to get to the void that way. Hey, there's no shortcuts here, except here. Now, I loved the Loki's base, which was really, really cool, as we see the Roxy wine, with Roxxon having an increasingly bigger role in the MCU in the background, and we even see a Polybius machine, which was a fictional arcade machine rumoured to be a government plot and is a huge conspiracy theory. We learn how classic Loki survived and why he's old, as when he was about to be killed by Thanos, he actually had a projection so powerful he then hid and got lonely, leaving the TVA to him. It's due to him not using daggers as much, which does actually blunt a Loki sorcery, which we just learned, albeit they look very cool. I love this as it was the biggest fan theory when Infinity War came out, speculating how Loki would survive the fact that there's no more resurrections. Now Loki plans to kill alioth, except as he leaves, we see Vote Loki. His arm is hilariously cut off by the alligator variant. His brother Thor also had his arm cut off there as well. Now Loki ran for president in the Vote Loki 2016 run, making it a clear and unsubtle parallel to Trump's campaign of that year, and that's where I am going to leave it before you start commenting. Keep politics out of comic books. Yes, there's literally someone called Captain America. Shut up. It turns out that he and the other Lokis convinced boastful Loki to actually turn on Kid Loki, leading to a gigantic scrap as the Lokis escape as Sylvie is chased by alioth. Now she has a connection with the smoke monster, which reminded me of Lost, and has a vision of a castle that looks remarkably like Doctor Doom's castle, but not just any version. Doctor Doom's castle in Secret Wars. If you watch my previous breakdowns, you will know I mentioned that Doom could be behind all this, and the fake timekeepers are just versions of his Doom bots. In Secret Wars, Doom did actually try and save the multiverse by collapsing all of the realities into one and making himself the God Emperor. Yes, Doom has had many different roles and even has a temporal platform in his castle in Latveria. It was a really cool story and would be awesome if it was adapted here. However, she is saved by Mobius in a pizza car, which would be a shame if it was not Lightning McQueen, which it wasn't. And I'm going to presume this was a Pizza Planet reference. Just go with me here. But at least the license plate with the numbers was made to look like Grunwald, the writer Mobius was based. Now the surviving Lokis talk after Vote Loki's arm was bitten off by an alligator, and Loki and classic Loki want to change, but they can't as the TVA prunes any Loki that wants to be good. They head towards Alioth, which was where we see the USS Eldridge drop in and is ravaged by the smoke monster. The same ship considered to be part of the Philadelphia secret cloaking experiment, which is a very big conspiracy theory. However, Sylvie catches up with the crew, and I found it funny. She was like, your plan was to paper cut the thing when she wanted to enchant it. Now, Kid Loki mentioned that there are marauders around and cannibals, which could be a reference to the Marauders X-Men team, but more likely just, roving thieves. Now, more than likely, they are actually a reference to the Marauders in Thor: The Dark World, who were a group of pirates invaders who fought across the 9 realms and actually were a kind of whole different group of aliens who invaded, which was why Thor had to go around and put down rebellions and fight them at the start of Thor: The Dark World. We then see Renslayer interrogate B-15 in secret, and it's clear Renslayer has no clue what is going on and just thinks they need to carry on the mission and wants to protect whoever is behind the TVA. I do think that she is simply a variant of Kang's lover somewhere, but I wonder if Doom is behind this. Now, I'm not sure if I am on board with the Sylvie Loki will they, won't they. It just seems too odd for me, but then again, there's an alligator, so I guess all bets are off, really. As they are about to attack, we see Ronan the Accuser's ship there as the rest of the Lokis decide to stay, and Mobius goes to the TVA in a pincer movement. He says he's going to burn it to the ground, just like Loki said when he was in Mobius's custody the first time. I love how Loki ran bait with the sword given to him by Kid Loki, as Sylvie tried to enchant it as he runs past a crash helicarrier, with old Loki creating a fake Asgard out of thin air, showing how powerful a Loki can be as a version of the Ride of the Valkyries plays, which, I don't need to explain that. We also saw a huge Easter egg there, possibly showing the Living Tribunal. Now, this character was first mentioned in Doctor Strange, with Mordo having his staff, and in the comics he was a cosmic being meant to protect the multiverse from imbalanced mystic forces. Now, I'm very gutted we didn't get to see more of Loki, and at least classic Loki, but we see the portal open and we see the castle, which is so much like Doctor Doom's castle. It's absolutely silly. But I'd love to know what you think down below. I really did enjoy this episode. However, I hope the next Marvel TV show, we don't constantly have the question of who is really the villain. We had it with WandaVision, sort of had it with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and we've got it here. There's just too much kind of blue balling of the fans here. I hope we get a straightforward thing next. But that's it for this video, so please do drop a like down below, do subscribe with notifications on, and I'll see you soon tomorrow for my Black Widow Ending Explained and Breakdown. I'll see you soon, and goodbye.